Whoa, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to another Geometry Dash video. We're once again back with the adding effects to Robtop levels series. This is episode 4. Last episode, we added effects to Club Step, so I think it's only fair that we add effects to Theory of Everything 2 in this video, as well as some other easier levels that we skipped along the way. The support on this series has been unreal so far. Thank you so much for that. So I will continue to shamelessly ask for subscribers because the Deadlocked finale in the near future is undoubtedly gonna go crazy, and I'd imagine I'll cover the whole level in that video, just as a little bonus at the end, as a little token of my appreciation. Now, we're doing toe 2. We might as well do toe 1 just to warm up, right? I have an idea for this, and it involves the last coin in the level. Hopefully there's no secret ways. Okay, good. Now, I want to make an effect that only shows up if you go and get the coin. I've set out the green gameplay line right there, and I'm going to put a box right where the toggle trigger is going to have to go, with touch trigger option enabled right there. So I need to prepare this now. I'm going to go on editor layer 1 and start making regular outlines just on the edges of all of these. So that's all the structures in this part covered. We're also going to do the saws. So once I've set everything out, I need to make sure that all of the saws are rotating at the same speed. I haven't revealed what I'm doing yet, but you'll see very soon that I'm going to need multiple layers. So I'm going to set all of these saws to 30 degrees and link them together with the outlines right here by turning on link controls and the extra editor options and then setting them to a new... I recorded the last video right before this. That's why the number is 257. I haven't actually closed the game since the last time I built. I'm going to check blending and set it to a low gray for now. I've set them to the group 2, and I'm then going to select all of the objects, including the clouds underneath them. So all of the saws and the regular objects, basically. Okay, so these are going to be going on group 1. The rest of the objects are going to be on group 2. So group 1 is going to very quickly fade out at an alpha trigger that is the same size as the box with touch trigger enabled. So 1, 0 opacity, and a 0.1 fade time. I'm also going to put a background trigger in there by putting down a color trigger, changing the ID to the background, putting it to black, and adding that 0.1 fade time, please. Thank you. Scaling it up and adding the touch trigger as I did before. Okay, now a problem I have is that the rest of the objects are still visible while we're going through. So I need to set alpha 2 to 0, and they need to fade on at the same point as everything else fades off. So 2 with a touch trigger is fading on to full opacity in 0.1 seconds. So it's normal, and then switch. There we go. So all of these lines are on group number 2. They're going to have a unique group 3, and I'm going to copy paste them a couple of times. Add a different editor layer at this point, just in case it gets muddled up. And I'm going to keep on incrementing the group number. So we started on 3. If I end on 7, we should have 5 different groups, which should be enough. So at any point before this trigger happens, we can start pulses for each line. Probably just going to have it on a simple 0.05 and 0.5 pulse pattern, and then make a staircase of them to happen one by one. And that doesn't do much until they move. So on a larger scale than this 0.55 second staircase, I'm going to have a couple of move triggers, starting on 3 for 1.1 seconds each, I guess. This can start here. So if you ignore the top ones for a second and just focus on these two, the pulse happens in the exact middle of the move time, and it's gonna move ever so slightly. I'm gonna say -6 and -3 to start off with, just as a test, and then we can reverse these after the fact, because if you think about it, they start at the midpoint, they move -6, and then to get to the other side of that midpoint, it needs to move twice. And I guess this pulse trigger can just keep on happening, so sometimes it's pulsing on the movement, sometimes it's not. I don't know, I had a set arrangement in my mind, but it's gonna work better if I just have 2 separate loops. As for the move triggers, we need to move the doubled movement over and over again. So the first one is just like the initialization. This would have been so much easier if I didn't use real objects for this effect, but I've been kind of stupid in the way that I've done this. Pro tip, don't use real objects if you're gonna do this. The gameplay is so scuffed, but you can see what it's doing, right? I just got to use non-real objects, and it's going to be a lot better. It's going to make a pattern like this that's going to be really easy to copy-paste. Another spinning object, but I want to make sure that that's on 30. I love having stuff on 30 degrees. It's just the best. And there's actually a benefit to having tried this and it working already, which is that I can make more layers to it, which is going to make it overall a lot smoother. So let's delete all of the pulses up there and the movements, and we'll remake them. Everything group 2. and then all of them on a unique group 3. Then on editor layer 2, we can start incrementing again. When I have a lot of layers to this, I'm gonna have to decrease the base brightness of the color channel, because if I have it too bright, everything's just gonna go to white. So I'm gonna grab this color channel and make it dark. Then let's set out movements way before anything happens, and we can repeat the same numbers, I guess. Then when I send it the other way with the movement, I'm gonna put it like 5 blocks before the actual ending, so the next movement starts before the other one finishes, and it's gonna be a lot smoother from there. Something I realized is that group number 1 should also be moving with the rest of the structures, because the positions of the structures as shown by the deco isn't gonna be real if I don't do that. Yeah, that's cool, right? Boom. Okay, right there. There's 16 beats. The last one is right here. These pulses are going to be for color channel 4. We have 2 of 16 triggers. We need to copy paste this 14 times now. 15 objects there. 16. Okay. Then we align by the X. We have a bunch of evenly spaced triggers, and we can just go through and increment the hue on them all. Please work. It would be really cool if it worked first try, wouldn't it? Boom. 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 Yes. This is good. Nice. Okay. We've actually put a design in this, guys. Adding designs to Robtop levels. To celebrate, I'm just going to add some glow that goes over the top on T3 with a moving group 23 and that pulsing group. Can I just mention how goddamn cool this game is? I can make whatever I want, and I feel so good when I do it, and it's fun, and it's cool. Woo! Let's go. This is actually looking good. We made like a neon disco party for Theory of Everything. Okay, nice. Humongous W. Theory of Everything, more like Theory of Every Win. It is time. We are doing back on track. We're going to be tackling this ship section because it's pretty goddamn iconic in my opinion. Start pause is going back here. Okay, we are going to make one of those splash transitions for the background to become smooth with the default blocks. For that, we need a new color channel, which is going to copy the color of the background. We're going to get our strips like this horizontally, and we shall add little glow pieces on the side. Now, these are going to have their moving group 1, but they're also going to have their own unique groups, such as 2. They need to start back here. I guess the background can lock on like way before the ship. So I'm going to set up the move triggers straight away, starting with 2, like 2 seconds long, maybe 3 actually. We're going to move it 300 to the left, which is 30 blocks. And we'll just put 2 blocks of space between them, I suppose. Because there's space above the ship that's visible, we need way more than 10 of these groups. So I'm going to go up to group 15, or maybe even 16, so we can have 15 original triggers. By the way, I'm not putting this as 3, the next one is 4. We're going to randomly put these numbers in just to make it a bit more interesting the way it rolls on. I should probably do this in a more coordinated way than just writing a number in, because now I don't know what numbers I've used. God damn it. Okay, the smartest thing to do is to just place them first and then change the group number. Boom. We should have 15 objects. Nice. Okay. B4 all the way down at the bottom. It's going to be don't fade and don't enter. I'm also going to extend it a little bit on the right just to be safe. Just need to make sure this background comes onto the screen before the ship section. That looks cool in my opinion. There we go. Then the whole screen is consumed. Then we are going to go to every single object, probably on editor layer 1 again because it's free at this point. And plus this doesn't really matter too much. We can then set this to B4 again, right down the bottom, above the background though. I'm going to put it at like -6 because I know that's above, and we just got to cover up the space underneath these blocks, because like many other default objects, they are slightly transparent in some way and let the background through them, and we do not want that. I was trying some stuff earlier. I spent a whole hour trying to get this rotating effect to work and it didn't, so I'm probably going to cheap out and just do a little pulsing effect in the background. So I quite like the idea of a long transition, as I've already shown with that movement for this background appearing, and the background isn't even going to mean that much, because what I'm going to do is take this background trigger, which doesn't even exist anymore, by the way. This actual trigger does not exist in the game. You have to go into the color trigger and set it to background, and even then it's a different looking trigger. I'm going to slowly fade it to black, and then I want spikes to appear, but these spikes are going to be the fake ones because they look really cool when they're colored. So these need to be at the very top of... No, do they? They need to be -7 on B4, which is the layer below these backing blocks that we added. I'm going to set this to the next free 17, And we're going to make it vertically. So 18, 19, all the way up to the top. Okay, approaching 26. Nice. This is also going to have a vertical value 27. Wait, hold on. I might be stupid. This has to be staggered like that. No, no, no. It needs to be staggered like this with half spaces. There we go. Okay, then I can flip it upside down and have another version of it underneath. But as you can see, the top spike has 2627. This one is going to have 1727. So there's different values for these. I don't think it's going to make sense if I put a spike here, but we might as well. I'm going to have a second group, which is going to lock to the x-axis at the ship portal. So I need this to be right here. We should make 27 the actual moving group. Then we'll give this 28, and we are going to copy paste these with different editor layers, and it's going to increase the group every time as well. Also, yes, I just put them on a random secondary editor layer so I can select them all if needs be. I just chose 45 as a random number, mainly because I know I'm not going to reach that point. Then this needs to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 5 blocks away, and we'll start moving them on. We'll give it 5 seconds to do so. Copy, paste, and increment the number. Okay, that's all of the groups put in. Nice. But then remember, I added horizontal groups that started on 17, so we need to initialize them. 0 opacity. On the line of the ship portal, it's going to fade on for 2 seconds. So as the last one begins to fade on, the first one is already faded fully on right there. And then I guess we can briefly shut it off, like 0.5 to 0. And then we'll do another full one on 2.5. Why not? So there's going to be 2 types of transition happening. There's going to be the strips in the background, which go to black, and then these strips that fade on like that. I'm going to copy the color that's in this background trigger. Background, paste, just like that, 0.05 and 0.5 on a background pulse like that. So the background's going to black, but there will be a pulse trigger that's always keeping the previous color alive. Wait, why are these spikes going above? What? Oh, they're T1? What? I thought they were B4. I swear I put them on B4. Am I stupid? There. Okay. So you can see what I mean with the backing blocks. I don't want the background to like shine through them. I have the music turned off on the recording because I don't want to get copyrighted, but there are 28 beats in this song, so I've put one trigger at the beginning, one at the end. As we did in Theory of Everything, I believe we're just going to press the Align X button once we have 28 triggers copy pasted. We can get a bounce on this, surely. And we can probably get a more climactic bounce if we put -500 and then give these spikes another group 58, which moves 200 to the right on an ease in out. Okay, that is a lot more than I was expecting. Maybe we don't have to do that, you know? It's just a little hunch that I have, but that's a good strategy you can use. By the way, I want to repeat this after it happens and make it so all of these spikes move off just as you go through the cube portal. All I need to do is flip this to +300, and then we need to ease in. And we might as well copy the alpha triggers at that point too. Let's see what we got. So it should bounce. Why is the top missing for a second? Oh yeah, because of the... Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I told you it was going to be a problem if I put that spike at the top. I guess just scaling these so that the top spike isn't visible. I mean, why not? It's a good foolproof strategy. It works. Hell yeah. There we go. Then they begin to move away. They change in opacity. Oh, when it goes dark, we should totally just toggle it off. That will be awesome. It's on this line where the background goes black because there's no pulse and the next background trigger hasn't started yet. So we just add 58 to this. Now we got to think of some cool colors, I guess. So we take the color that's in the background trigger and we put it into a new color channel, 8. Why not? And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can copy that color. Since the background's changing all the time, the pulse wouldn't be consistent. So we might as well store the color inside that color channel so we can use it for hue changes. We'll just put a 0.5 and 0.5 pulse starting with 17 and moving upwards to 26. We could do cooler stuff like making a secondary wave for the horizontal groups, just similarly to what we did in Theory of Everything, which is moving it a number and then moving it back double and then back double, so it's like a wave. This looks so much cooler. There we go. You see the difference that makes with the secondary waves? I think it's awesome. And we can also add a little gradient at the bottom. So I want to have a singular glow piece along the top. That's going to be at the very top of B4. Then we'll make a glow staircase. And also we keep the black at the bottom. This needs to be low opacity, so we'll give it a new color channel because I'm too lazy to add another group. There's far too many groups in this already. We'll do that, and then we stack them. We might need to change the opacity now that I'm thinking. Yep. For sure. There we go. It looks a bit more textured now. And we'll lock this to the x-axis. It's going to end up needing a group to fade on. And I just thought of something. What if I give this part a block transition and add these spikes to just don't fade? Since they're moving on and off screen, they might as well have something cool going on at the sides. You know what? We're going to use the secret one, which you can find by typing in secret trigger and then adding it to your custom objects. Let's have a look. Yes, this is vibey. I am a fan. Let's go. I'm not sure about the green, but the concept is there. I am a fan of this. Oh, God. So these strips are going to slowly but surely move away. Nice. I like that. It just slowly drains. It takes so long. Oh, my God. Also, yeah, I'll give you the luxury of what was made earlier. Yeah, screw that. That was stupid. I realized you can't add more than 10 groups to a single object. Look, if I try and add 39, it just doesn't work. So I had to make like a bunch of different lines and it was just pain. All right. It is time for Theory of Everything 2, and we're going to go ahead and skip right to the wave and the ball section. We're going to go straight to editor layer 1 and start putting white blocks all inside the objects right here. And it's important that these objects are white because any blending objects cannot be displayed on top of white objects. Blending basically trades brightness for opacity, and it takes into consideration any color that's behind it when it's combining the RGB and the brightness to create a new color. And you can't get anything brighter than white. So, in fact, I should probably do some spikes and also the ground spikes as well, just to make it consistent. It needs to be B3, don't fade, don't enter, and we're going to put it on a modest 5 Z order. Rob, what is that? I guess I'm just going to make my own edge for this then. This looks mega lame, but I'm just going to add it in anyway. We've added design to Robtop levels. We've fixed Robtop levels. Like, god damn, what else am I going to do? Cook for Robtop levels? Okay, cool. Now we're going to select all of the objects. Apart from the portals, I want the portals to be visible, obviously. We'll set that to group 1, and group 1 can be invis. Now we're going to select all of these objects, copy paste, and on B2, the next editor layer up, we're going to add next free group, and this is going to be something like a light red blending on both the base and the detail. At this point, by the way, the background is going to black. Just got to delete all the other background triggers in this part. So this is what you see. Wave part looking fresh, then ball part coming up. Can I remember what to do? Yes. Boom. On, just like that. Okay, so now I need to make the layer that goes in between the white layer and the blending layer to make the patterns. And I think what I'm going to do for that is create a wiggly line in the middle. I think with mini blocks is probably the best decision. They need to be black. They need to be at the very top of B3. Don't fade, don't enter. They need a moving group and a unique group 6. Then the next one can have 7. We've done this a billion times in this video, I'm pretty sure. Okay, but then on either side, on the next layer up, we're going to have another white square. So color number 8, we need it on Z order, I think 24. We'll put on editor layer 4. And we'll put one on the other side of this as well. I'm using the absolute scaling hack to scale them around their own midpoint. This is possible in regular GD, but it takes way longer than it would if I used this hack like right now. So that's why I'm using it. I'm supposed to be using color channel 6, which is the actual black, for any black details that I want to add. There we go. So you can see there's 2 strips right there. I don't want the borders of these to be colorized, so I'm going to select the whole of these 2 strips and put them on B2. There we go. So there's 2 strips that sit above the other ones, and they're still part of the row that's about to wiggle. So I'm going to copy the 2 alpha triggers for group number 3 and set it to 5, which is going to be for the moving group, which is going to lock onto the x-axis right here. Oh no. You see the problem? Number 1 tip, do not allow any of your effects to fade on like this. It's so ugly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've moved it 5 sets of half blocks, which is 12.5 blocks. We need to move it down 125 on a new group 19. Why is that a new group? I accidentally missed out 19. On this wavy thing. That is so strange. So it goes from 18 to 20. Whatever. So moving them down into their position in 0.2 seconds as soon as the wave starts. Which is going to look pretty goofy. but it's fine. And now it's time to start wiggling. Moving it 21st and then moving it back 40. You know how this works. I think I've done this 2 or 3 times in this video already. Then we copy the whole thing and stagger them by one group at a time. And we're going to align this so the last trigger in the first set is in line with the portal. So it's already in motion by the time it fades onto the screen. Oh, that looks cool, right? And the best part is we can add other low opacity stuff around the outside as long as it's on group 5 and another group which is going to be low opacity B3 and don't fade, don't enter. Oh, I messed it up, but that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Didn't even mean to do that, but I guess we'll keep it. Like, okay. By the way, this doesn't have to be red. We could make this orange or something and make it fade to a purple because all the colors in between there are super nice. Just going to make sure it's on color channel 5. Blending, we hit the default button, shift it to purple. We can also put pulses for the beams that go behind by using group 32 again and having a 0.1 fade time to full and then fading it back down to 0.4 or even lower. And we can totally mess around with the opacity with 1 second fade times to full, to 0, to full, to 0 in the middle of this ball maze. Something we could do is copy the inside of the mask, put it on B1 and a new group, which is going to be 0 opacity most of the time, and then make it pulse at the same time as these. Could be interesting to mess with in the ball part using the same fade times as earlier. I don't know, just an idea I had. So it goes invisible inside. We could also troll and pulse color channel 4, which is white, down to black. Another way I can mess with the colors that I think everyone knows by now is by using a giant blending screen, which is going to sit at the top of T1 on a blending color channel. And when on a low opacity, it will tint the black areas of the screen. Let me show you if I just press all right now. You see, the white doesn't change, but the black parts do, which can fade in and out of a low brightness version of color channel 5. So it can go orange right there. Maybe a bit more saturated because it looks kind of lame like that. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways I can mess with this. I'm probably going to leave it like this because it has a bunch of different ideas all rolled into one. I'm taking the blending screen off of group 5 so I can have a separate fade off for that. And then 36 is going to be its own thing. So 36 can have a 0.5 fade off and group 5 can stay on a 0 second. You may have noticed that I copied the wrong goddamn trigger. That is so embarrassing. That was slap bang in the middle of commentary, and that's my excuse for that mistake. Now let's have a look at this. Boom. Nice. We got the transition out and everything. Good. Theory of everything, back on track, and theory of everything too. 3 banging levels all in one episode. We had some stuff to work with there, man. I had so many issues trying to record this episode, but I think I've managed to fix all of my effects. This series should be called Fixing My Effects in Robtop Levels instead of adding effects to Robtop Levels, because I seem to be fixing them more than I'm adding them, and most of the video is just bug fixing, and then I have to cut everything out, and all the recording sessions end up being like 4 or 5 hours. Oh, thank you for watching this episode of Adding Effects to Robtop Levels. Leave a like and subscribe. Have a good day.